Hello everyone, I'm Elijah Gray, and we are back with the advanced techniques! Yes! Alright, so I already set up a video in the video track and the game audio track. This is kind of the leftover template we got from the other one, so I'm actually going to delete all these tracks and not confuse you. So, right now, this is one of the episodes from Super Mario Sunshine where I go to Gelato Beach, and me and Peter are acting like idiots. So, what we want to do is, for this advanced technique, I know a lot of people have this issue where they just upload the video footage raw with their audio, but they want to touch it up. Now, some people prefer to have it like this. If you notice these black lines, some people like that because it doesn't actually stretch out the video, but my game recorder makes it like that. But if you actually go to this little cube here, it'll actually crop the image. So what we can do for this is, what you want to do is uncheck this, or else it's going to like make it the black line, and then over time it's going to shrink and zoom in. So you want to drag this line and make sure it's all the way over here. So if you zoom in with your mouse wheel, you might want to make this window a bit bigger. Don't do what I did. Alright, so I actually have a preset already set. Like I said this before, if you have presets set, you can just click under here, and that's how you get to them. I actually have the GameCube, Super Nintendo, PS2, and PS3, like Medieval and all that. So, what we do is, if you actually just drag, you want to make sure this is on the X line, just click it till you got this. Move it just there. And this one here, just a little bit. And if you tone that one down to right about there, and if you tone this one there, if you notice the video footage, it looks almost the exact same except there's bigger black bars. How did this fix it? Well, we're missing something. You gotta add the magical thing. You gotta say, no! And then, once you hit no, ta-da, the black lines are there. Those are from the cutscene, so if we actually just go to a different clip. Now you notice it's actually in there. It's still a bit black lines there. I think you can actually just... No, you can't. I thought you could use your arrow keys, but if you just move slightly with your mouse... There we go. So now we don't have to worry about that. And, oh, by the way, my bad. Once you have it set, and this is what your raw footage, like a lot of clips are going to look like, and they have this black line, it's always different. Like, mine's kind of like this black line. You might have big black lines on left and right, or big ones on the top. Once you have it set, just write, like, GameCube. I have two different versions. Sometimes it records like this, which I have right now, and sometimes the setup is like this, where it has just big black bars on the left and right. So we're gonna have it set to the GameCube 1, which is Super Sunshine. So now that we got that, it looks great. Now, if you notice, you see how it's all jittery and stuff there. That is just from the frames blending. So if we actually go in full, you don't really see it as much in this game, but you can still see the ghost frames. That's just a thing with 3D gaming. It's easy to fix. There you go. That's a good example right here. So these are like interlacing clips right there. So the only way to get rid of that, you're going to notice it in your video as you're editing it. But see if you're on preview full, it actually kind of blends together pretty well, but you got the extra frames. My PVR records at 30 FPS. So for my Sunshine videos, what I do is I render them at 30 FPS. Now the only reason you're seeing these extra frames is because if you set your project settings to 60 FPS, which is this, the project right here, your video is actually optimized to fit 60 FPS. That's why it's showing those extra frames in there. It's actually ghosting, and ghosting's not good. So what you want to do is you don't have to worry about that. Just when you go to rendering, you want to hit 30 FPS. You should have made a template of like the 720, 30 FPS and 60 FPS, and then 1080, 30 FPS, and 60 FPS. Sound confusing? Yeah. Is it easy? Yes. Good. Now, let's get on to the more technical stuff here. Look at all these video effects. Let's use some. Alright. So, if you notice, the video footage here, I'm just gonna actually zoom this out and go right here so it's actually bigger so you guys can see it. Mario is, just jumping off sand. Now, if you notice, it kind of looks a little foggy. Some parts in the clip, some games do that, or some games might be too dark. If you're playing like a horror game, like Slender or something, or Five Nights at Freddy's, and you want other people to see what's going on before you do, you can max up the brightness. To do that, for brightness, you can actually just go right here, brightness and contrast. You can also search the plugins now, which is good. If you just put on default, there is presets that are pretty good. You might just want to drop one and you'd be like, oh, that fits. But for me, I like to fiddle and technical stuff, so hit default here. You can actually bring the brightness up and down. You might want to just leave it where it is. So if we just put that back at 0. Now if you do the contrast center, right about there, and then contrast right there, and then bring up the brightness just probably, let's aim for 100 on the spot. There, now if you notice it looks more, brightened up, the edges look a little more toned, like, it's more of like a sun shining on them now. It looks more clear. So this is what it looks like now. This is what it looked like before. See, it's all foggy looking and kind of shaded. So if you have it like that, it actually looks all fresh and good. If you want to fiddle with a bit more, like, that's just like a preset. You can tone it down a bit more. So you want to have your contrast. Higher it is, the less fog you see, but the more you do, the more color, and the more, God, it's horrifying it's gonna look. So I would say about 300 or 400, around there, should be pretty good. Especially for GameCube games. Like 480p games. So, now that we have that, the video footage is actually looking pretty good. If you notice when you try to move to clips now, it might lag a little bit depending on your computer because you have a video effect now. So it's trying to render that video while you're trying to watch it. So watching a playback footage of your video, if you're going to add all these touch-ups, I suggest matching up your audio first and seeing that fits. Then do these, just so you know it's all set up so you don't have to keep playing back footage unless you're trying to do a really neat effect. So now that we have that, there is another thing we want to do. If you wanted to go a little more interesting with it, you got Color Corrector here. Now if we put the default in, you know some of the midtones, like the green on him is kind of blending with the mountain. There's no real edges to define. So what we can do is actually move out some of that green. So if you notice, we just kind of like brightened up the green, the whole area, but that's actually on all the footage. So now you notice we're in Greenland. Ha! I get what I did there. So you can actually brighten up certain midtones and stuff. And if you notice those video effects where people are like, oh look, this block's now purple, but the rest of stuff's normal, that's from this. So if you did like, let's say blue highlights, it kind of just like trims it down. I find the blue highlights to be pretty nice. It has like that washed look, especially with the brightness and contrast. So now it actually looks kind of HD a bit. There. So now it actually kind of looks like a picture like you see on the back cover of the game. Actually looks pretty good. I like that. So the blue highlights are pretty good. I suggest using that in some of your videos. I don't recommend it for all videos. Sunshine is a bright and awesome looking game, so this is a good one to have it on. But if you're doing like a dark game like Medieval, like I did, I don't really recommend it. But that's your preference. Like I said, this is all about you. You don't have to copy exactly what I do. So there's it on and there's it off. So if you want to like have it, let's say these HD looking, well not really HD, but this brightened, enhanced color on this area, what I suggest you do is, but like if you just want it in Gelato Beach, for example, and then you want your colors to be in, not be in, sorry, like this scene. So if we take it off this scene, we actually notice not a real change. Wow. Oh, here's a good scene where the cutscene is. So, there we go. So if we actually just put it on, if you notice Mario is kind of look pinkish now, kind of like more human instead of tanned, which is kind of weird. What you can do is actually set an automation, or as they call it, animate. So So we can set that up. But for color and brightness, I suggest you just have them the way they are. You don't really need to animate those things. But if you want to do like a funny effect, like let's say, where was that guy? We're gonna make him Mr. Sexy Man. So as you can see, I'm actually running around here, acting like an idiot. I'm like blah 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 blah, and then here's the people fighting. So if we want to make it look like a funny little joke thing, what I like to do is either add a marker on the timeline. So if you hit M, it'll actually open up a marker, and you can write like fight or something else. You can also just split the track if the marker doesn't work with S, and there you know it's there. So now that we have that, if we just keep going over, these guys are arguing, they're jumping like idiots, and that's when I leave, right when that guy's doing like the, yeah, we did it, credit scene. So if we do that, I can do in our marker like, fight, end. So now that we have that, we can actually just match up this, and if you go under, let's say I want to make it look like, the one guy's, like all, like, let's make it look all epic. So we can actually go to invert, and if we put just a default in, makes it look all weird and crazy and stuff. I don't know, I'm just doing this off the top of my head. So we can have it so as soon as it hits that clip, it's going to be inverted. And it's going to look all weird and demonic looking. Everything's going to look all messed up and such. Anyway, you get the idea. So what we can do is, if you want it to not be inverted as soon as the clip starts and you want it to just happen, you can actually go to this, animate. So what we want to do is actually, good, we have that set up. So you want to have that on, and you want to match it up as soon as it happens. So it's just zooming in a bit. You want it right on the dot right there. So we're actually going to turn it down. If you notice, right in the middle, it kind of gets like pure gray because it's switching over. You can set it like this. So if we hit the little clock, you'll animate it, and then we got this on the bottom. So this is the whole clip, this part right here. So if we check this now, we can have it go up to probably about that far in. Let's say we max up the invert. So now it's going up. So we drag this over here. What you can do is if you want it to stay inverted, just hit Control C or right click and hit copy. Drag this all the way over here. Oh, my bad. Messed up there. So we want low, then we want to set the thing to invert, and then you go over here. Another trick to doing it is if you actually just drop it by a teensy bit, and then going to here to have it off again, and then if you go back, because it's marked, you can max that one out. So now, if we watch the clip, it's actually, see, it pans automatically for you. So like, there it is, da-da-da-da-da, evil fight scene! And now they're fighting, everyone's all chaotic, and Toad's freaking out because his cupcakes are on fire. So, now that's going on, that's all set. So that's, animating, or I like to call automation. Another thing I like to do is, a lot in my intros, is lens flare. So, let's do it on this scene in particular. So we'll hit this. I'm just going to split it for this one, but you can mark it too. So we'll have it there. So what I do is default. Now these you can't really tone it to whatever you want. So you pick a lens. If you notice you got a little dot thing on there now. So if you actually move it around, I don't know why. We don't see it. Hang on. Do. Oh. That might be why. Let me just see, because you can actually change. Oh, actually, since this is a full footage, that might be why. This one wasn't a good one to show you. Like I said, I'm still learning, but I'm just showing off the best, like, what I do. Lens flare, what I like to do, you can actually animate, you can actually just move, like that little sparkle across the screen. But it's just like how I showed you there, except instead of bringing it there, you can just drag it across. Another thing we can do, I'm looking for it. Oh, Starburst, is that the one? Yeah, okay. So we want it to look all pretty in this one. Oh, I could have just, did I drop it in the wrong clip? No, I didn't. Okay. So look at it. It's intense star power. So we can actually just fiddle around with the settings here. I just want it to look sparkly. And see, it's all blue. So it's like a beautiful moment. Everything's happening. And if you notice, it just stays sparkly on the high colors. So the only sparkles that are moving is just what's moving on the character. But let's say we want to get more technical than that. Instead of having it like that, orientation will actually make them spin around. So if we just bring down the strength on them and turn up the brilliance and put that up a bit. I put it too low. Probably about right there. Oh, what's Sony? Sony, what are you doing? I thought we loved each other. Put the radiance about there, and let's add more points to it so it looks like an actual star. You don't want center burst that much. The aspect will actually change the shape of it too. Soften edges will make it look more realistic or more sharp. But for this, we want it to be like cartoony. So if we actually hit the orientation, so if you put it down at max, like right at 0, and if you hit animate, we can actually go back to the beginning of the clip, which is set to, and then go all the way to the end, and then hit orientation to full. So now, when we watch it, ta-da! They're now spinning, and everything looks all sparkly and shit. It's like a Barbie commercial. Alright. That's pretty much it for the animation automation for your videos, and how to touch them up a bit. I hope this helped. This is probably the best I can do for now for showing people. If you have any more questions, and a lot of questions come up on different techniques that I do, I'll definitely do a video about it. But as for that, this is pretty much all you can really do. I guess there's some other things I can show off, like, for instance, I guess I can do it really quick. So, I just put in our video track in. If you actually hit U, it actually splits. These are actually grouped together, because they're one project. But if you hit U, it actually splits them. So if I do C, Control C, click on this track, Control V, now we just got the video portion of it. What I can do, which might give off a weird look, is I can actually mess up how the crop is on certain scenes. So instead of it being there, if we do stretch the frame, there we go. So now if we actually move out certain portions of the frame, so if we go to this, if we bring it out now, oh, sorry, you gotta max this on move. So, there we go. Right about there. Okay, as you can see, like, look. My footage is just kind of like, woo, it's locking right over it in different layers. I actually turned the wrong thing off. There we go. So now we have like a mini clip. So you could be like, oh yeah, this happened in the last episode, or like, click here to go to this video. What we can do in this particular scene here is, once we like have that set, you notice the black bars are back because you actually just maximize that. But if you go to mask and checkbox that, you're going to want to make this big for this part because you want to be really fine to detail here. So if you zoom in, if you just do a little poke and poke, poke. I know I cut some off there, but it's just like a speed version of it. Oh, poke. Well, there we go. Now it's connected. So if you look at our video now, the black bars are gone, and it's only going to show that part of the video. So now if we move it around, there's the clip. And it's like, whoa! But you want to get more freaky than that. So if we drag this down and zoom it in more, if you know it's all stretched out. So let's have it like a box on it. Now, this is just crazy stuff, so this is just a way of showing it off. So if we go back to chroma key, this is like green screen, by the way. So if we go to default, you can actually fiddle around and do goofy stuff here. So if we go to our color, and let's say we want all the tiles in Delfino Plaza to be gone, we'll take it off, and now all you do is you have a box version. So if we just fiddle with the settings here, drop this one a bit, put this one down there, now we have multiple Marios running. So if we look at the clips, there's like a little mini version going on, but as we're in Delfino Plaza, which it gets a little goofy there. If you notice, you have like little Mario is actually on top of the big Mario, goofing around a little bit. Like I said, you can get more technical with this, but if you're just doing like basic Let's Play stuff, this is more like if you want to do funny effects on certain stuff, then go for it, be my guest. But this is if you want to do like a joke, like, oh no, it's Space Vortex, and then stuff moves and everything. And you can actually, the way I positioned everything in that last clip, you can actually automate the clips too, so you can automate everything. Anyway, I hope this helps with you editing with YouTube better. Not with YouTube, with Sony Vegas better. And I hope your Let's Plays turn out a lot better and the way you want them to be. And I hope you like and subscribe, give feedback on the bottom, and I will see you in the next episode. Wait, I'm so used to saying that. If I do have a new episode of this, it'll be from tips that you guys asked me. Alright. Good day, everyone. It's Elijah Gray, signing out.